Hello there, and welcome back to another edition of Deb Talk. I'm Deb Owen,
I'm Lupe Castaneda.
and today we're going to, well, this one might be a little shorter than normal.
Yes. So this will, because we're going to get straight to the point. We got a lot to cover, but we can do it in a shorter time.
Yes,
Yes, because we're going to get straight to the point on this.
yes.
Self-employed
Self-employed borrowers.
borrowers.
We have a lot of self-employed borrowers, and we come up against the fact that a lot of people are worried on their self-employed income because if you're doing a conforming loan,
Yep.
which is your conventional loan, your FHA, your VA loans, and your rural development loans, those are under the conforming product. For self-employed borrowers, we are required to cash flow their taxes different than what most people would think they make,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
And there's all kinds of different self-employed income. You can have your simple Schedule C. You can have a partnership. You can have a corporation. You can have a limited liability corporation.
Right.
So depending on what you have is how we're going to cash flow those taxes.
What you have and how many years have you been in?
Right. That's
Self-employed.
that's important.
That's
So
important.
it can seem very scary when you are self-employed because it's like, oh, I make, $1 million. Great income, right?
Yeah.
But when we as lenders look at that, we're not going to be looking at that gross. And we understand. And this is where there's always kind of a disconnect between an accountant and a mortgage lender. And it's not that the accountants are wrong. They're absolutely
No.
right. They are doing their job correctly.
Correct.
But, and it is their job. And as a self-employed borrower, we totally understand.
We totally understand.
Because the more write-offs you could have, the less that income is that you report to the IRS and that you would pay taxes on, right?
Right.
So we get it.
Yeah.
We understand. But unfortunately, from a lender's point of view, we don't, on a self-employed, we don't use your gross income. We're going to look at all those expenses that were taken out.
Yeah.
There are some additional things we can add back in. Can be depreciation. It can be potentially, it could be like mileages, and potentially we can never add in auto expenses, but you might be able to negate out the payment to help offset some things. So we're going to cash flow those taxes, not the way that you would think.
Correct.
But it's always fun to look at them. I don't mind cash flowing taxes at all. It's always fun to look at those, but we do have to look at that and get through the whole bottom line, the whole picture, to give you the income that we would use as a mortgage lender.
Correct.
And it's going to be different than the income that you are reporting as, especially your gross income.
Yeah. So if you're a normal, conventional person that got a W-2,
Okay,
then we would just look at your W-2s.
right. And we do use gross income at that.
Exactly. But
Unfortunately, on
Self-employed
self-employed borrower,
different.
any kind of those self-employment incomes that I talked about earlier,
Yeah.
we can't use the gross income. And the reason, really, there truly is a reason behind it.
Yes.
The reason is because when you come and take out all your expenses, then your income that you're paying taxes on really could be what we're using.
Yeah.
So you pay taxes on that lesser amount, not your gross amount, right? When you're a W-2 employee, you pay taxes on your gross amount. So you're paying taxes on that lesser amount. And that is why mortgage lenders, if you're looking at conforming lending,
Yes.
has formulas that are needed. My best advice, and help me out here, is let us look at those right away.
Yeah.
If you're thinking of buying a home, let us look at, or refinancing your existing home, let us look at those 2 years taxes. Sometimes we can get away with 1 year.
Yeah.
Typically to do that, you'd have to been self-employed for at least 5 years,
Correct.
typically. But sometimes that 1 year can average out income a little better than a 2-year average. Because we do understand about how the self-employment is calculated from the IRS standpoint.
Yes,
okay, and your standpoint as a buyer
correct.
or as a taxpayer.
As the taxpayer. And there are situations, and I know you've done that as well with some of your clients. If you have not filed your taxes yet, please come visit with us. We are happy to sit down and review the taxes that you have filed in the previous year and possibly look and see what you are looking at for the following year.
Right. And even though tax deadline is behind us,
Yes.
a lot of people file, especially self-employment,
Mhm.
but you have to be, file an extension till October 15th.
Mhm.
But to file that extension, your accountant's already reviewed your taxes.
Yeah. Yep.
In order to file that extension.
Mhm.
So we would love the opportunity to review those too. Not to tell you how to file your taxes. We are not
No.
accountants,
Mhm.
but to explain to you what those potentially could look like and your ability to purchase a home and or at a certain level.
Correct.
Okay.
For planning purposes.
For planning purposes.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep. And we can work, we'll work hand in hand. You
Absolutely.
work hand in hand with your accountant. Again, we are not accountants, so they look at things differently, but we would love to have that opportunity to work hand in hand to help
Correct.
you plan for
Correct.
planning purposes.
Right.
Mhm.
And if that doesn't work,
Yep.
there are non-conforming programs we have also
Correct. Yes,
that
there are.
that work.
Mhm. We do have the
Bank statement loan,
bank statement loan, 12
Right.
months bank statement,
right? Or a 24-month bank
or
statement.
24 months.
And the reason we look at both again is because you're going to get a better rate on those non-conforming has specialized pricing.
Yep.
Okay, I mean, they do.
Mhm.
But we can, 24 months might have a better pricing than a 12-month.
Correct.
Might have a better, the pricing on that might be a little bit worse. And also your P&L loans. I mean, you've got
Yeah.
P&L loans
Yep.
too. And
Mhm.
again, those are specialized products because they're not sold on the conforming market. They're sold on the non-conforming market. And so how the income is calculated is a little different.
Yes.
But if we can review those, and we do, like Lupe said, we
Mhm.
review those a lot for self-employed borrowers before they're actually even filed.
Yep.
Does it make sense to pay lesser taxes and go conforming?
Mhm.
Let's look at the pricing on those non-conforming products, or does it make sense to pay maybe a higher tax bracket? I hate to say it, I get it, we get it, we
Yeah.
understand it, we're
We do.
there, we're with you, we're right by you.
Self-employed. Yeah.
But does it make sense to then instead maybe pay a little bit more in taxes because then your specialty products have a higher rate, higher discount points.
Mhm.
So really, is that going to offset it?
Yeah.
Those
That's
are just things that we want to look at and
Mhm.
help you plan. Like Lupe said, planning on self-employed borrowers is actually the key.
It is.
And
It
if
is.
you are a person that has a partnership or a corporation or a little limited liability corporation,
Mhm.
your lender has to see all those different entities' tax returns.
Mhm.
Okay, not just your personal. Everything flows to your personal.
Yes.
We understand that. But in order to actually cash flow correctly, we're going to need to see the business taxes also,
Mhm.
because that's really where the income is derived from to get onto your personal taxes.
Yes. So when your lender asks you for all pages of the tax return,
Yes,
please include all pages.
provide all pages, and we
Please.
know some of them can be this thick.
Yes.
Some of them are this thick, but a lot of them can be this thick.
Yes.
And if you do provide, we know by the first 2 pages of your 1040s are pages of the first 2 pages of personal tax returns.
Mhm.
That's their actual form. We are going to know if you provided us on your 1040. We're going to know immediately that you're self-employed and what things to ask for. But just be prepared. Be prepared to make sure and have at least the minimum 2 years of your personal taxes and any businesses that you are associated with those personal taxes.
Correct. Yeah.
And even if you're like a investor and all your income comes from, well, if it's a Schedule E on your 1040s, that's simple enough too.
Your Schedule E being your rental income.
Correct.
Mhm.
Right. But that's why we need all those pages of those taxes so we can get that done.
Yes.
But there's options for self-employed people.
Yep. And we don't.
There is.
And again, as you said, we like to look at these.
Mhm.
We are happy to look at them. And even for planning purposes, if you're like, I don't want you to look at my credit yet, I just want to
Oh,
know if
yeah.
I'll even cash flow. we're happy to do that as well.
Absolutely.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And give lender pointers.
Mhm.
Lender pointers. There's a difference.
Yep.
On what you might need to tweak or talk to your accountant about. Not saying it would work. In order to purchase or refi or even do home equity.
Mhm.
You know, home
Yeah.
equity loans, all of those type of loans need those tax returns. It's your
Yeah.
non-conforming, your specialty products, your bank statements, your P&Ls. Is there another one I'm missing? I feel like there is, but
Good for you now.
I could be off. I think it's
We could be off. If we are, we'll just
We
stick it into
forget
the end of the video.
right, right. But I don't think so, because you can have
No.
24-month, 12-month, and your P&L loans for self-employed borrowers.
Yeah. Yeah.
To help out. So
Yeah.
I know that one was short and kind of sweet. Hopefully it's sweet today.
Yeah. But we also wanted to remind you and give a shout out to all the mothers out there, because Mother's Day is just around the corner.
Sunday.
Yeah, just Sunday.
Yeah,
And
don't forget
just
your
around the
mama.
corner. Don't forget your mamas. To my mama, I love you very much, mama. Love you. To all the mamas out there.
That's so sweet.
Mhm.
I love my mama too.
Yes.
She's gonna hear me
To all the
another way.
To all the mamas out there.
Yeah, to all the mamas out there.
Yes.
And then at the end of the month.
Mhm.
Oh, we just had Cinco de Mayo.
We just had Cinco de Mayo.
It's a big month.
It is a big month.
It's
And
a
we've got,
big month.
and especially to all the graduates, because we know graduation's coming up as well. Congratulations to all your, to you on all your hard work. And we just want to let you know that we are very proud of you. Congrats.
Yes.